Here's our bowl that we'd filled with the Lucy Clear. I'm now turning it into a bowl. So what I'm using is an Arbortech cutting wheel, and it's brilliant because it can't cut any more than that depth from there to the top of the blade. So you can control the depth really well. It's pretty hard on your hands if you're not careful because it throws the bits at you. So just got to be careful when you use the beast. And I've started carving out in this area here roughly. We had to step all the way around, so I've carved that out now, and we'll keep carving away, and we're going to have a nice bowl in this beast by the time we finish. So let's see how we go. It's amazing, you know. I took 3 days to fill this thing up, and look, we've still got holes in it. I thought we'd filled it all, but there were obviously some cavities in there that the resin didn't make it to. Interesting. Alright, well, I'll finish carving and I'll show you what I've been up to when I finish. Here we are, half hour of fun with our Arbortech cutter. It's a little ripper for carving out, but he does a great job. I've taken gel coat off my boat with this. This is what I primarily bought it for. Rip all the old gel coat off because it was buggered and put epoxy on. But now it's a real job is carving out things like this. And so we've cut the guts out of this, given it a bit of shape. I'll finish it off with some sanding disc now. That's looking pretty good. Pays to wear gloves. Epoxy, when this blade flicks the epoxy off, boy, it bites. And there's our leftovers. Right, so we've taken heaps off, about half hour's work and done. Now that's looking pretty good. Isn't that going to look Mickey Mouse? The problem I've got now, I thought it'd all be filled. We've got all these bloody nooks and crannies that still need filling. So I'll sort that out. I'll get a sanding disc on this first, tidy it up so it's nice and smooth, and we'll have to do some more epoxying, so I'll experiment with that. And as I experiment, I'll tell you what we're up to and how we solved the problem. But it's going to look absolutely magnificent when it's finished. I've now started sanding, and I'm using a coarse sanding disc, and we're shaping. So we've done this here and it's quite smooth and taken out all those rough spots. So it's quite rough in the bottom there at present. If you have a look down there, there's all lumps and bumps. By the time we're finished with the sander, it's going to be pretty good. That's quite thin on the bottom actually. I reckon we're down to about that thick. So I don't want to take any more out. I want to fill him up a bit. And we'll do that. I'm going to do a little bit of gouging out with the sanding disc, just to show you how it is. You don't need much pressure. You just keep working it in a semicircular motion. But see how I do it. I've finished sanding our slab and I've started filling some of the holes. I'm using a syringe with a jaw-up needle, and you sit it right down into it and see how as the epoxy goes in it fills up from the bottom and forces the air out. Always when you can fill holes, do it. Just fill them up with a syringe, get the syringe down as far in the hole as you can, and if you can't, there, see there's another one. These draw-up needles are very small, and it's surprising what they'll go down into. So this is going to be a few days work because the Lucy Clear is so slow curing. These are going to take a bit of time. But anyway, we're in no hurry, and you'll notice I'll fill the beast up as I go. So there'll be more of these down the track. Last night I mixed some Lucy Clear and poured it into all the cracks and holes down this end. It had gelled, so this morning I scraped the excess off so I didn't get a big lump in one spot, and that's the excess. Notice it's gone all brown. That's from the dust that were in the small cracks that's coming out. I'm going to have to clean up the cracks a bit better so I don't have that problem. But I've now filled the holes in all of this area here. Look at the colours coming out that jump at you. You know, it just compared to there looks dull and boring. You know, down here we've got all those blacks and the sap seams, you know, want to leap out at you. I just love the way that epoxy does that. It's brilliant. Very good. Okay, I'm back playing with our burl, and I'm going to mix up some more resin. This fella here. I'm only going to use a little bit at a time because I'm just filling the holes in this beast and go around. Once I do that, I think I'm going to use the boat coat resin to finish off. It's going to be too hard to try and do it with the Lucy Clear, unfortunately. Anyway, I'll keep plugging away. Might take me 2 or 3 days to finish it, but I'll get there. Okay, I've finished filling our bowl after cutting him out. Just clean up a few patches here. We've still got a few shiny patches, and clean that up, and then I'm going to do inside. Not sure how I'm going to finish it yet. Lucy Clear won't work because it'll all sag into the bottom of the thing. I'm thinking of going non-yellowing boat coat, but I'll see how I go. I might even end up oiling it if I don't get what I'm after, but that's all to happen yet, so we'll see how we go. I'm sanding it with our Makita. It's got a 5-inch pad on it, and I've actually got a 6-inch Merca Abranet pad on it, and see how I'm cutting in from the edges, and it's handy because it rolls over and it allows me to cut in and use this edge, and so I can radius and I can swing the sander around quite a bit as I go, and it works quite well. So I just get in on an angle, get the pad on the radius, work backwards and forwards as I go. So just backwards and forwards and keep the radius. Don't keep it in the one spot because you'll dig grooves. And you can radius around. You can put it on a steeper angle or a shallower angle. And that's how I've cleaned it all up. I've finished sanding the beast. Got it all down. There's a few little spots like this with a little bit of gloss left. I'm just going to hit them quickly with the Dremel, and I'll do them with a bit of boat coat because they'll cure fast. And I think I'm going to have a go at pouring the outside, doing the outside with pour on gloss. See how I go. Anyway, that's where we're at. So she's looking pretty good, and I think I'm going to give the non-yellowing boat coat a go inside, and I'll show you a few tips and tricks when I do that. This is going to look $1 million when it's finished. So what I've done here, it's had a lot of really fine holes and that in it, and a really neat technique is adding 50% metho to 50% epoxy, or equal parts, and painting it on. It's filled in all those little small holes. When I first put it on, and I should have taken some video of it, you could see the air bubbles bursting. It was amazing. So you saw all these air bubbles bursting away, and it filled in all the little nooks and crannies, and it was amazing. And then from there, over this side, right on this side, I've then put a full strength, let it go really sticky, it was almost green, and I put a full strength coat over that side. Now this side I've just done with the 50% metho, and down in here there are all these little fine cracks and pinholes, and I've managed to fill them all in with the metho. There's a couple there, see there's a bit of crack there, it still needs a bit more. What I'll do, I'll let this gel, and then I'll put a full strength coat over this side as well. Look at this, this was all sculptured out. When we've done it, I even trapped an air bubble in underneath there. So it's got so much character. You know, from a bit of manky timber to what I'm bringing it to is absolutely amazing, and I'm really pleased with the finish.